Okay, so I'm going to try my best to review supply and demand with you. Mind you, currently I am in a hotel room in Chicago. I literally just landed, and this is the first thing I'm doing while in Chicago. So yes, my trip is super exciting right now. I apologize for this terrible, horrific, really embarrassing setup that I've got going on, but it's the best I can do. Okay, so you have this worksheet. I accidentally already drew the first graph because my first video didn't go so well. So here's what we're looking at. First, this is the water market. All I need for you is to draw your supply and demand lines, and then go ahead and label PE and QE. So we're going to practice shifts first. So let's say there's a drought in California. That is going to decrease supply. If we decrease supply, that's going to shift it this direction. Draw your new supply line and label your new price and your new equilibrium. Okay. Now let's pull some information from this. I can see that price went up and quantity went down. All right, that's super basic. Let's take it a step further. Let's acknowledge the fact the water market affects other things. The water market, for example, might affect the coffee market. So I'm going to go ahead and just draw supply and demand one more time. And always labeling. All right, if we have a decrease in the supply of water, which is a resource for coffee, okay, then we're going to have, let's say, a decrease in the supply of coffee because it is a product, and they will no longer be able to produce coffee because it grows with water. So again, we're going to see that change some things. We saw a decrease in supply. We're going to see an increase in price and a decrease in quantity. Let's move on. Let's go to another market. Let's say baristas. We're making some connections here. Baristas, that's talking about the labor market, which is also going to have the same supply and demand lines. So again, I'm going to label. Okay. So since this is a labor market question, the business is going to be the demand line, and so that's the one we're going to be moving. So what's important is back here in coffee, the price went up, okay? If the price goes up, then that is going to affect the demand for baristas. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a second, try and figure that out. What is that going to change? All right, I'm impatient, so that wasn't quite a minute. So as a business producer, if the price is going up, I want to sell more coffee. So I'm going to have an increase in demand. Okay, and then once again, you could say price went up and quantity went up that time. All right, that is your basic shifts. Okay, there's a lot more you could do with that, but we're going to go ahead and move on down here a little bit. And this is where we're going to do our side-by-side graphs. So this one is your firm graph, labeling. This one is your market graph. Let's start by drawing our firm because we did that last class. This firm is going to be a perfectly competitive firm, so I'm going to draw MC first. I'm going to draw Mr. Dart next. I'm going to label because I have to. Now, when I shift this over to the market, make sure you dash it over and it's going to line up perfectly with the equilibrium. PE and QE. All right, let's say that this firm is operating in the long run. So where are you going to draw ATC? Right there. And let's say something happens over here in the market. Let's say, I don't know, there's a decrease in demand. That's going to change some things. We're going to focus on this one right here. It's decreasing the price in the market, which is going to cause a shift in the firm. Mr. Darp follows the price line and also goes down. Okay, so now that Mr. Darp has moved down, we're no longer in long run, we're in short run. Are we making a profit or a loss? Well, check. Is ATC, I guess I should put that there, above the price line? Yes, it is. So we are in a loss currently. If a loss happens, oh no, here's the long one. A loss means that firms leave the market. If firms leave the market, that decreases supply, which gives me a new equilibrium again. Here's the great thing though, it just increased my price back to the original equilibrium. So what's that going to do over here? Follow it. It's going to increase Mr. Darp back to where it was, and we'll call that 2. And now we're back in long run. So if we go back to writing it out, remember, if there's a loss, firms leave, which decreases supply. Decreasing your supply is going to increase your price, which means MR, DARP increases, which puts us in long run. Other questions they could ask you: what happened to the price in the firm? What happened to the price in the market? They could stop at different points, but you get the idea. Okay, just jotting some other things down. Ways we could see shifts happen in the firm first. So our first shift was in the market last time. It comes down to taxes. So taxes cause shifts to start in the firm. We had 2 types, and remember, when I say taxes, I mean subsidies too. Lump sum, which moves ATC, and then per unit moves ATC and MC. Okay. Important to note here, if we're moving ATC and MC, we're going to see some sort of change in profit or loss. Why? Because our point of intersection is changing. So that's going to either increase profit or decrease your profit. Okay, that's the first half. That's supply and demand. Next video is going to cover elasticity.